Hey, how's it going? Hope you're good, man. We are doing a timeless love message today. Not really much to say other than we're just going to tap in, man. It won't take too much of your time. Let's go ahead and take a deep breath, say a prayer, and do the reading. All right, pretty God, Spirit, my guides, my angels, and my ancestors to help myself, the collective, and anybody watching to see the clearest messages for the highest good of all involved in our love and relationships. We again are going to be, excuse me, we again are going to be starting with the Hieronymus Bosch Tarot deck. Yeah, I'm actually probably going to like read from the book. So I've been doing, my own readings. And they, I don't know what's going on with my throat. I just did like a couple readings. I don't know why my throat is doing this now. Could be a message, but it has like its own, very particular interpretations of these cards. And before we get into, I did actually just want to show you, if I can find it. They have, I don't know why I'm not finding it, but they have like, it lays out like the actual, I don't know, man. I saw it, like yesterday. Maybe it's in a different section. Oh, yeah, it's probably over here. Well, anyways, it just goes from like, they have like court cards and then one ace, is basically what I was trying to say with this. So, it is a little different. I should probably take a sip. Okay. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. I don't know why my throat is doing this. Let's go ahead and just shuffle up, man. I hope you guys are good. Yeah, man, if you're new here, welcome to the page and thank you for watching. If you're not new here, welcome to the page and thank you for watching. I appreciate all of you regardless, and I hope you guys have been facing these Mercury retrograde energies well. It's a really good time to slow down and reevaluate things, man. If you want to book a personal reading or see any of my other services, it is in the description. I will never contact you for a reading in any way, shape, or form. The only way to book a reading with me is by sending me an email or a DM on Instagram. But we're going to go ahead and get into these cards. We got a little bit of a stack. I am going to be reading from the book because I can interpret these on my own. And at this point, I mean, I've not read all of the cards, but I have a pretty good idea. I've gotten like all of these cards from my own readings. We'll do bottom of the deck. Bottom of the deck, we do have King of Coins. So we have Ascent of the Blessed. We have the, what was that? The Grail Knight. We have Knight of Skates. We have Princess of Berries. And then the King of Coins. Knight of Coins, excuse me. Yo, I'm so sorry, guys. My throat literally just started acting up. Just for this reading in particular. I don't know why. I'm not entirely sure why. My throat was fine earlier. Yeah, it's getting kind of weird. I probably got some shit stuck in my throat just from like speaking. Let's go ahead and read these though. We're going to start with the Knight of Coins. And then we'll do our own interpretations. Okay, so here it is. I haven't read aloud in a while, so apologies if I'm not as good as I was in the past. It says, Knight of Coins schemes business success by cheating. A man wearing spectacles slyly steals the purse of another man who is leaning forward. Let me show you the card while I'm reading, so you're not just looking at me read. Okay, so it says, yeah, a man wearing spectacles slyly steals the purse of another man who is leaning forward. The thief appears to be engrossed in the show happening in front of him while his hand lifts the purse of gold without getting caught. Under any other suit, this depiction would be embodied in a baron. In this suit, however, a skilled thief can be considered somewhat heroic, especially if his victim is completely clueless. Although he's stealing, the Knight of Coins does have one redeeming quality. He does not rob his victim of the key hanging from his waist. The knight only takes what he needs. He's not out to ruin the victim by ransacking his house and taking everything he's got. This card indicates someone who is about to start their own business or entrepreneur who is already working for themselves. It suggests business savvy and the ability to operate a successful enterprise rather than someone who steals or uses underhanded business tactics. Okay. We're going to read all of these cards and then interpret them because sometimes different cards affect the other cards. And I just think it'd be really cool to kind of get you guys acquainted with the actual definitions of these cards, because they are a little different. They do represent, you know, particular tarot cards, but they are a little different. So we're going to do Ascent to the Blessed next. And I believe, well, we'll see. It says rebirth, recognition, assistance, and promotion. Angels assist souls through the darkness into a bright tunnel leading to heaven. Those who look upon the white light raise their hands in praise. Their journey through life has ended, and a new experience of life in heaven is beginning. As in the traditional card Judgment, Ascent of the Blessed shows the moments following the resurrection, but it defines the meaning of the card more precisely without the overtones of death, graves, or courts. This card represents an end to your struggles and tribulations and preparing for celebration and peace after a period of unpleasantness. There is a sense of rejuvenation. Ascent of the Blessed indicates a new stage of growth about to start, or perhaps the first step has already been taken across the threshold. A new love, a new career opportunity, a new location or school. All of these may be buried in the meaning of the card. So we're already kind of seeing a very similar cadence of the last reading, having to do with like moving into a new career space. Again, we are still in Capricorn season. So we'll go ahead and take a look at these other cards and see how these tie in. Let's see. We got the Grail Knight next. It's going to be this one right here. Here's the Grail Knight. It's a little bit of a gruesome card. It says, Grail Knight, blaze of glory, trickery, danger, failure, honor, and courage. The Grail Knight, wearing full armor, is being attacked by 7 demonic creatures that bite his stomach and neck. One hand holds a golden chalice, the Holy Grail, and his other hand grasps his white banner. Behind the knight, a vicious creature is stabbing his naked squire. In this scene of defeat and failure, there is much to decode. As they marched on a holy quest, the Grail Knight and his squire were betrayed and ambushed, duped into thinking their mission was complete. The demons of hell set upon the Grail Knight, led by a soldier demon whose moth-winged eyes see all. In contrast, the squire's helmet is on backwards, and the Grail Knight averts his gaze from the horrors. The pure white banner shows a frog, a medieval symbol of lust, indicating that the Grail Knight perhaps deviated from his holy quest. The Grail Knight symbolizes courage and heroism, but also the potential for trickery, betrayal, and defeat. So now I'm starting to get a picture here, because we do have the King of Skates and we have the Princess of Berries. So if we're talking about a new love relationship, just off the bat, I mean, I do feel like there are going to be people that may try to lead you off. Okay, hold on. I'm seeing this a few different ways. Before we read the other cards, I have a pretty good idea of these cards, and we don't have to go into all of them. I don't want to take all the time reading the book. But King of Skates says lack of help, distractions, and self-centeredness. Princess of Berries is courtship, love, romance, and relationship. Okay, so these are pretty self-explanatory. This to me is like a Two of Cups type of energy. King of Skates is somebody who is essentially, I mean, I read both of these yesterday, so I can pretty much, just explain it to you. The Knight of Skates here is like, as you can see, this is somebody who is really only focused on what it is they want, right? There's somebody down here that is essentially not prepared. From what I recall, I can't really see it. It's kind of hard to see, but the dude has like a golf club, right? He has a golf ball and he has a top hat. And so that's kind of indicating that this person here is maybe their shipmate. They didn't really warn them about the conditions they were going to be exploring, right? So the reason he has a ship is because he's on skates. And he's essentially kind of preparing for if the ice falls through. It's an intelligent person, somebody who is really, really sharp-tongued. They know what it is they want to do. They're kind of moving forward. I mean, this is basically like King of Swords energy in a sense. But the Knight of Skates is like, the way they do it in this deck is they have elements. And so I think the skates elements are like metal and water, right? Because it has to do with water, and then the metal of the skates. They have their own associations and stuff. So this is kind of what I'm seeing. I do feel like there is a new relationship that has kind of been brought into your life. Okay, I do feel like you are starting on something new. But I just feel like it's at the behest of somebody else is kind of what it feels like to me. Okay, let's take a look at these cards. So, Ascent to the Blessed, I mean, this is basically justice. Okay, and then we basically have the King of Coins, which is on the Knight of Coins, which is the Knight of Pentacles, right? So this is somebody who, like the card said, somebody who only takes what they need. This isn't somebody who is necessarily trying to take out of malicious intent, And if this is like a love relationship that you're moving into, the person you're dealing with could have somebody like this around them, right? They could have somebody around them that may be giving them poor advice, that may be leading them astray, maybe trying to take them off of their path. They could be feeling this way about the relationship. There are going to be a lot of ways to really interpret these cards. If we're looking at this in terms of career, this really feels to me, it's like if you are moving in a new direction in your life career-wise, trying to get your finances in order, this is just a reminder to not let love be the thing that completely distracts you from what it is you're trying to do, right? This is the card of distractions to me. When I see the King of Skates, to me that has a lot to do with distractions, right? This isn't necessarily somebody who is this isn't really somebody who is moving in a way that is helpful to other people. And I just feel like there may be an energy around you or around your person that may not have the best intentions. And with the the Grail Knight here, trying to kind of just, even if it's subconsciously, moving them off path. And I feel like just as a final message with these cards here, it's to recognize that, like, okay, like moving in a new direction, a new relationship, a new career space, as we're seeing with the Justice card here, Ascent of the Blessed, it's looking favorable, and it does look like you're going to be getting what you need. It's what I'm seeing here too. It's like it may be new and it may be fresh, but you are going to get what you need. You're not necessarily, I don't feel like it's one of those things where you're going to be lacking, either financially or in romance. And the reason I say so is because we do have this card here. I kind of want to read the book on this one. I don't know if I've read the book on this. Princess of Berries, Courtship, Love, and Romance. Let's read the book on this one, because I do notice there is a third person in the back drinking a little bit. So let's see what it says about the Princess of Berries. First page I turn to. Let's go ahead and hold this up for you while I read. Okay, so Princess of Berries says courtship, love, romance, and relationship. The only princess in the minor arcana, the Princess of Berries embodies courtly romance and the ideal of true love. She sits on the ground with a large berry between her legs. She has carefully peeled back the top and is enjoying the fruit, while her suitor watches with a smile on his face. The suitor has already presented one berry to the princess and has a second ready to bestow. This is not a one-night stand or a fly-by-night romantic tryst. He genuinely loves her and wants to provide for her. Considering the position of the berry, we can also be assured that they will have a courtship that is both sexual and passionate. So it's pretty self-explanatory here that you do have some sort of relationship either coming into your life or that you are involved in. I just feel like Spirit is really asking you here to not let that distract you from, you know, your own personal goals, right? If this is something where you feel like, because the thing about relationships, man, is I feel like each person has the opportunity to take advantage of the other, right? And what I mean by that, it's like because you're both vulnerable with each other and you're getting to know each other, there is the desire to do more than you would normally do in, let's say, like a friendship or in a familiar relationship, depending on how you approach relationships. And so I feel like this is one of those things where it's like, just don't take more than you need. You know what I mean? Like, understand that people, while they always do have boundaries, sometimes they're not always comfortable enforcing those boundaries. And so I feel like in a relationship in particular, or even in a career space, it's important to recognize that kind of push and pull and balance, and understanding that people are going to act different in the beginning of a relationship, and then they're going to, you know, change as you guys move further into the relationship. But it's not really looking like this is something that's just going to be like a one-night stand kind of thing. I don't feel like this is just like a passing, like, wind in the night. I feel like this is a solid relationship opportunity here for you. But I feel like more than anything with the Knight of Coins here, it just feels balanced more than anything, right? It feels like a balanced energy. It doesn't feel like you guys are taking more than you need or giving more than you can. I feel like there is not only the desire for equal give and take in the relationship, but it is already occurring. And I feel like this is just something that's been coming for a long time. This is something we've been reading for a long time, these types of relationships coming into our lives. At least the collective I read for and that I've been tapping into for a while now. These are the types of energies that we have been manifesting for quite some time. Okay, so we're going to get, I mean, which direction should we even take this, man? Because it's pretty much one of those things where it's just setting the stage for, I feel like, what is either coming into your life or what you're experiencing. So, I mean, I guess we could pull some advice. I didn't really see any problems. The only issue I was maybe seeing was, you know, getting led off track or something. So maybe we can get some advice on that. Let's see if well, that just came flying out. Okay, so we have Queen of Vessels. I actually don't think I've I don't think I've actually read this card yet, so I'll read it in the book. It says Queen of Vessels. Gambling, never satisfied, female lust. Let's see what it says. So this is technically the Queen of Cups, right? So this is somebody who's very intuitive, somebody who's in touch with their emotions, who is very giving, who is not afraid to share. It says, a nude woman balances a die upon her head. In her hand she grasps a vessel and a lit candle. Beside her, floating in the darkness, is an open purse. The Queen of Vessels is, perhaps, a more honest rendering of the classic Queen of Cups. This queen has knowledge, blessings, and fortune, but she takes unnecessary risks and isn't content with what she's got. The candle flame represents the light of wisdom, but also shows her burning inner life. This is a woman of action, constantly moving, who is always looking for more. While she takes risks, they are mitigated by her innate knowledge of how the game is played. This card may indicate it's time to level up your game. It may also suggest a passionate relationship is about to begin that involves a soulful woman. It doesn't have to be a woman. This could be just feminine energy. I don't feel like these energies have to be gender specific. The thing I have noticed about this deck, I would show you the card, man, but it's got like technically what you would consider nudity on here, and I don't know how YouTube is about that, so I don't want to get like strict. I don't want to get my video taken down or anything like that, so I'm a little cautious with showing some of the cards, because some of the cards are a little, you know what I'm saying, a little risque. But like I said, man, this just feels like you are moving into this new space. Okay, you do have the Queen of Cups here, and I feel like as an advice card in this situation, it's just preparing to level up. You know what I mean? That's what I feel like is going on here. Whether you're entering a new relationship or you were already in a relationship, you're now in the space where this is going to be taken to the next level, right? This is what Mercury retrograde is maybe putting a little bit of a pause on us for right now, slowing things down. This is what came out in the Instagram reading at JS Tarot Service. It's really taking that time to evaluate where you're going, where you see yourself in the next few years, what kind of person you're becoming, and if that aligns with the type of partner that you want to be with. Okay, let's go ahead and pull from the Sorcerer's Tarot. Yeah, so as I've been using that, I almost said Baron's deck, as I've been using this Hieronymus Bosch deck more, I really like it, man. Let me know if you guys like this deck. I don't know what you guys think about it. If you guys are enjoying it, do you resonate with it? Just let me know below if you guys do actually enjoy this deck. I know it's a little bit different, and it doesn't have their traditional tarot meanings, and it's another person's interpretation of what could be a tarot card from a series of paintings. And in the book too, he goes over each painting that is like, he basically tells you like, oh, I want to show you. I'm pretty excited about this deck, so that's kind of why I like talking about it. But yeah, so basically this dude has like, he lists all the actual, I know it's probably backwards for you, but he lists all the different paintings that he uses and which card he applies them to, which I think is really nice. So we're going to go ahead and just pull. I did see the Lovers pop out at the bottom of the deck. Let's go ahead and just like shuffle up, man. Just see what wants to come out. No particular direction. Everything is looking pretty good so far, man. It looks like more than anything, it's just you're kind of needing to step up into the next level of this relationship, right? But we did get some cards that came out. Got a little bit of a stack, not too many. All right, so we have the Seven of Pentacles. We have the Knight of Wands. We have the, what is this, the Five of Cups. We have the Seven of Wands, Three of Pentacles, back to the Seven of Pentacles. So I just feel like there are going to be obstacles that need to be overcome in this relationship. And I think that's kind of where we're starting to head in these types of situations that have been coming up. In order to really move into that new space in a relationship and for things to level up, like you stepping your game up, them stepping their game up, there are going to be a lot of internal conflicts that need to be overcome. Also something that came through in the message on Instagram. But more than anything, man, I feel like you're just going to have to let go of any disappointments you have experienced. This is what I see here, right? When we have the Seven of Wands and we have the Five of Cups. This is something where I feel like there have been a lot of conflicts that you have dealt with. But more than anything, dude, I feel like there's just going to be people around you guys that are disappointed. And I don't feel like it's a disappointment in you or your person. I just feel like a lot of people are going to be projecting. You know, we have some energies coming through of, you know, separate people in these readings, and that does tend to happen, right? With the King of Skates is what I saw the most. That's kind of what is sticking out to me with the King of Skates here. And these other cards, it's like you're going to be I mean, this has to do with like new contracts, entering into a new relationship. But in this deck, it's putting in the work, right? This is somebody who knows what they're doing. They have all of the ingredients necessary to start that new recipe, to cook whatever it is they're cooking, be it a relationship or career, could be combined. But I just feel like this is going to be moving very fast. We have the Knight of Wands, and the thing I came to understand about the Knight energy, especially when I was reading through on this deck yesterday or last night, or the past few nights, I should say. The interesting part about the Knight energy, it's somebody who, while yes, they are, you know, not spontaneous, it's somebody who's willing to take action. It's a very action-oriented card, but it's not somebody who is taking like foolhardy action, right? This is somebody who is essentially moving cautiously, like kind of really knows what it is they're doing, puts in a plan before. It's like not like a page energy where they're just, you know, stepping up and doing this and doing that. This is evolving, right? This is an evolved energy. And while some people may see the Knight of Wands as an inconsistent energy, my understanding of this type of energy is that it's a more evolved version of the page, and it is moving into a more evolved space. Yes, it is fast-moving energy. However, I feel like it's only inconsistent in people who do not do the inner work, right? The people who don't heal from the disappointments, who don't let go of anything that kind of, any type of lessons that were coming up. I feel like there are two sides of the card, excuse me. Yeah, there are two different sides of these cards, and that's kind of why I like keeping them in the upright, because it gives me space to intuitively work with them. Because in the reverse, that's where you get the inconsistencies. That's where you get all this, and that. But I don't really feel this kind of energy coming through, even though I do keep it in the upright. I just feel like there's going to be obstacles that you need to overcome. There may be disappointments, right? That's kind of what I'm seeing here too. It's like everybody has their flaws, man. Nobody is perfect. And if you're dealing with somebody new and you're entering into a new connection, I do feel like the desire is mutual to build. This has the potential to really lead to that warm, loving household, but it's just going to take time. What I am seeing though, man, we have the 7 and we have the 3. That's leading to a 10. That's seeing the potential here. That's planting the seeds, that is harvesting, putting in the work into that harvest. Fast-moving energy, letting go of the opinions and disappointments and projections of other people around you, whether that is friends or family, giving you advice, whether that is also tarot readings, giving you advice from a place of pain and projection, which is kind of why I like to take my time to heal from things and just process things before I speak on them, because I feel like if I don't, I'm speaking to you from a place of me being in pain or being hurt, which is okay. There's nothing wrong with, you know, feeling the pain of things. But if I'm only talking to you from a place of not being healed from something, you're really only getting advice from a place of, from somebody who is maybe feeling petty or feeling regret or remorse or resentment. And so it's like I really, really like to take the time to process those things before I come to you and talk about these. Which is why a lot of the times sometimes I do take my little breaks, you know what I mean? Because it's like if I'm going through something, or you know, a situationship comes to an end, or somebody from the past comes back to try to resolve something, or I have a family problem or a friendship problem, or just any kind of issue that I do face, I really like to take the time that I need to be able to actually speak on these energies for you, okay? So let's go ahead. I mean, the Lovers is still at the bottom of the deck after, you know, shuffling the deck, still sitting there. And so that's what I'm saying, man. This is a time where I feel like a lot of us are coming into these new relationships. They may start really just moving fast, man. That's kind of what happens when you come together with somebody that has the same values, morals, and goals as you. Once you kind of recognize that similarity, it's easy for things to move in a really fast direction. But more than anything, man, I just feel like the Spirit is really asking you to prepare for that, to prepare for where it is you're going, and to just be ready to take things to the next level. We're going to pull a last reading thing that I did. We're going to essentially pull from this deck again. I want to use the Hieronymus Bosch deck. Only problem though, let's see here. I think I like set the cards on top of it, so I just want to make sure that we get them out the way. Yeah, they're in the reverse, so that's okay. So these are all the ones that we used. We're going to go ahead and get some final messages here with the Hieronymus Bosch deck. I hope you guys don't mind that I've been using this deck like twice. This is the second reading where I've done it, where I've used it a second time in the reading, because I genuinely just enjoy this deck. And while I do like, doing my own interpretations, I have been enjoying reading the book because it's given me a new perspective on the different tarot cards and is already helping me evolve reading the other deck that we did just pull from, right? We were able to get some different kinds of messages than what I normally would have gotten just by watching other tarot readers, okay? So the thing about the ace cards in this deck, we have the ace of berries, bottom of the deck. The ace cards in this deck are essentially a conglomerate of all of the different, it's just every single association of that suit. This is what the aces encompass, and that would naturally go for like the aces in normal tarot as well. It can also represent new beginnings, starting a new relationship. Berries is kind of just like that. I'm gonna check the book because it has particular associations that I kind of want to look at before we read the other cards, just so we have an idea of what we're dealing with the berries. So this is what I'm talking about. So hey, I found it. This is kind of what I was looking for here. So as you can see, they have the major arcana. Kind of hard to see because it's backwards, but they have the major arcana, right? So they have all the different suits, and then they have the associations, like the elements and stuff, right? And the same thing here. It goes through the page all the way to the king, and then it has the ace. So that's kind of how this deck works. And then we have the suit of berries, and they have these before each thing. So we're going to read this because that's basically what the ace is going to be encompassing. So the corresponding element is earth, so this could technically be considered pentacles. And it says the meanings are abundance, fertility. I can hold this up for you. Abundance, fertility, harmony, joy, and friendship. It says Bosch uses berries and fruit extensively in the center panel of the Garden of Earthly Delights. I'm guessing that's the painting it comes from. This panel depicts humanity as being one with nature and with itself. Despite the strange scenes, there are few conflicts. Bosch has imagined, excuse me, my throat is acting up again. It says Bosch has imagined an earthly paradise devoid of artificial technology, with enough resources to ensure peace and harmony. The most abundant resource is berries, particularly strawberries, blackberries, and cherries. The cards of this suit are connected with the concepts of friendship and cooperation, and of abundance and fertility. No one appears angry or upset, and there are expressions of joy and happiness all around. Even in the Baron of Berries, the lowest octave, there is no malicious intent or negativity. Those with a love of the natural world will gravitate towards this suit, for it is most strongly connected with the element of earth. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and read the book for the Ace of Berries, and then we'll likely just interpret. I don't know if I'm going to have time to read all this stuff, so we'll read this last one, and then I'll just interpret intuitively for the rest. It says, harmony among all living things, happiness and joy. Two men are dancing inside a giant berry while a large owl sits passively on top. Even though they cannot see, they are actively becoming one with the berries of their suit, as vines rich with fruit grow around their arms and legs. The men, berry, and owl all exist together in harmony, each relying on the other for companionship and protection. The berry cannot move on its own, so the men act as its legs. The men cannot see, so the owl acts as their eyes. The owl requires a safe resting place, so the berry acts as its nest. What at first appears to be a bizarre and unworkable combination of arms and legs and vines is actually a perfectly symbiotic triad of living beings. So that's just kind of symbiosis between partners, man. I feel like this relationship you are entering into is going to be a very symbiotic relationship, man. We got the Ace of Birds, a lot of ace energy here. We have the Queen of Swords as well. Queen of Swords says, trickery, a capable woman, downfall of your enemies. It's a very gruesome card if you look at it. It's a rat stabbing a lady. Ace of Birds, I do like the way this card looks. As a final interpretation, man, I feel like you're going to be overcoming whatever it is that's been holding you back, man. Entering into this relationship, it's natural to have people that may be jealous. If you and or your person are in the public eye, or you have exes that are trying to come back around, finding out that you are involved with somebody new, there is likely going to be people around you, like we saw with the King of Skates, that are jealous, petty, but it just feels like that you and your person are putting an end to that, man. You guys aren't really tolerating it. It doesn't feel like this is something where you guys are sitting here, bottom of the deck. We have the Prince of Birds, some more bird energy. Again, I feel like this is symbiosis personified, man. Friendship, helpfulness, and gratitude. So like I said, man, I think it's a duck. First duck in the deck, feeding the dude a berry. You may start out as friends, start out slow, building the relationship, but I do feel like it's moving in a romantic direction because the the desire for romanticism is there, the desire to really start this new direction with each other, man. We got the suit of birds, which is basically swords and air and all that stuff, even though they already do have swords in the deck. So I can technically be earth and air because it's, you know, birds, they are both land and air creatures. And with the ace, and then with the queen of swords, and with the page of birds, I really feel like you're going to be moving in a beautiful direction with this relationship, man. It's kind of repeating messages at this point. I wanted to pull some more, but it's pretty self-explanatory, dude. This new relationship you're entering in, this new person in your life feels like they don't have terrible intentions. I don't feel like they're out to get you, and I don't feel like it's going to be anything that's going to keep you stuck. Again, because as we have all done, we have taken the time to work through those things together, right? Which I'm very proud of you, by the way. Just seeing how much these readings have evolved within this year alone, it's pretty impressive, man. We have come a long way together, and I'm really grateful to be able to grow together with you guys, man. Because it's like, it's not only me being able to speak from a healed space, but, you know, you resonating with that healed space with me, telling me that because I'm resonating with the collective I'm reading for, we are both continuously growing. And really manifesting those healthy relationships, stable relationships, mutually giving relationships, which we have seen with these cards too, man. Final messages here, though, with the animal messages, or not tarot, excuse me, oracle, I guess. Not even just animal messages. It's not even really an oracle. Let's go ahead and get some final messages to close out this reading. So, you know, I apologize if some of the messages seem to be a little redundant. That's just what's coming out. It really started out as new relationship coming in. The advice is really just to kind of like be ready to step it up, because things are about to start moving, man. Right now, you know, look back at some of the readings that we've done, and I think you'll find it interesting to see, as I have too, looking back at my old readings, that situations you find yourself in now, those are essentially going to, like, it's weird. It's like I'll look back at old readings and I think it applies to a situation I was in. And then I move further in life, maybe a few months down the road, and I look back at some of the titles and they're applying to things that I'm experiencing now, right? So this could apply in the future. I mean, they're timeless readings, man, but let's finish this up. I got like a minute and 11 seconds. We got a few cards. So we have Baboon, and love and declarations of passion, heartfelt communication is key. Yeah. Yeah, Buffalo, or no, Bison. It says, recognize the riches of the past and the abundance of the present. Tiger. Passion and adventure beckon. Cobra. Change is inevitable, but with it comes the chance to shed a burden. Mountain Goat. Fighting for love or ardent declarations may hide unfaithfulness, right? So I know that's an interesting card to come up, but it really just means it's just like making sure that your intentions are in alignment with what you want to experience, and making sure you're being authentic with what you want, being not afraid to like really embark upon this new adventure, man. I know that was kind of a quick closing, but I have like 21 seconds left. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys for watching, man. Just don't be afraid to take that next step. Be brave, man. This new relationship is here to teach you what it needs to teach you, but it is also here for you to experience love, happiness, and peace, and all the things you've been manifesting, or we all have been manifesting. But that said, man, I love you. Goodbye.